Okay, hello and greetings everyone. Welcome to today's edition of our conversational educational program. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so today we have Didier Ponele. He will be taking us on clinical trials for longevity. And the focus will be on how to design and manage and validate clinical trials for anti-aging therapies and biotechnological intervention. So Didier has been in this field for years, and he is one of the key supporters of longevity research. And last year, he did a very huge he helped in raising over $200,000 support for Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation. That was last year, and he also did another round of. He's also working on another round of funding for Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation to help Aubrey scale up what he is doing in the lab. So these are the real people that are so passionate. In fact, he runs his Heals Foundation with his own personal money from his pockets, and he has been supporting emerging longevity communities conferences from across the world, and he has also been one of our key supporters over the years. So thank you so much, Didier, for your time and what you've been doing, and we've been working hard to ensure that Afro-longevity become a formidable force in the continent and also be a key player and contributor in the longevity space globally. Yeah, so we're going to use 50 minutes for this so that we can join the International Longevity Alliance meeting at 8. Thank you so much, Didier. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Osi Nakashi, for this introduction. And yes, I will speak now. I don't know exactly, but about 25, 30 minutes, I think, and then there will be space for questions. I will share the screen. No, I suppose this is okay. And I want to say also, I apologize for those who were there for the first time I was speaking, a few, the same, but only a few. And so the theme is how to accelerate clinical trials for healthy longevity, with, of course, a few words also about African situations, even if I know less about this aspect than some of you, maybe the most of you. So to begin with a reminder. So today, like every day, about 120,000 people will die of disease related to old age, and this is about 90% of the people dying in rich countries, like my country, Belgium, but even in poor countries, even in, for example, sub-Saharan countries, the most people, or at least more than 50% of the people, when they die of diseases, it's diseases related to old age. So this is the life expectancy, average life expectancy, the evolution the last 60 years in sub-Saharan African countries. So you see a progress of 20 years. There was an interruption during the HIV period, and then a brief interruption during the COVID period. This is the specific situation in Nigeria. The last 10 years, you see that it's going up still, with a difference between men and women who is smaller than in other countries. So, and what I think it is that it is very probably possible to have a treatment against aging within 15 to 30 years. It will be complicated, expensive. We need AI to progress rapidly, and we need clinical trials. And now about this and about rejuvenation and science. First, this is a schema about all aspects related to aging, and I will, of course, not go into details here, but you have to know that there are many aspects who are, let's say, acting, and many times you don't know if it is one aspect having an impact on the other or the other way around. So many things that we don't understand, but it's not because we don't understand everything that we don't have to start with experiments. What we need is simplification of the research and clinical trials. So we have more scientists than ever in the history of humanity, but sometimes you have also more bureaucracy than ever in the history of humanity. It is now, there are people saying that we need to test a new drug in Europe. We need 1 to 2 billion euro, primarily due to heavy regulation in US, in Europe, and probably a bit less in African countries. So we need a less bureaucratic and faster system of authorization. We need also authorizations who are valid not only in one place like it is the situation now. And now more about specifically clinical trials. We need a global vision. We need a paradigm shift, a kind of a moonshot Manhattan project for clinical trials at the European level or at the African level or even at the world level. In our organization, HEALS, Healthy Life Extension Society, we made a declaration, so the link is there below, to say that we are collectively willing to participate in experimental treatments aimed at extending healthy lifespan with 3 conditions. One is, of course, that there is a good implementing party. The second is that there is a parallel administration and monitoring in humans and mice or rats. I will come back to that. And third, of course, that there is a commitment to transparency and open results. This is probably the most important aspect. Why is it important to start at the same time on humans and on rats or mice? Because mice have a shorter lifespan. So when you start at the same time with humans and with mice, you can observe the effects on mice very fast, and on humans you have to wait longer. But mice and rats are not small humans. 90% of drugs that work in mice fail in humans, especially for neurodegenerative diseases. And we modestly extend lifespan in mice, but not lifespan of humans. Biology is quite different on mice and on humans, but still, in many cases, we can test at the same time on humans and mice. We need experiments who are really double blind. So one group of humans will have the best already available treatment, one group will have the best available treatment and the new therapy. And in this case, both groups will be in a better situation than ordinary people because they will have the treatment and they will be followed by people who know a lot about longevity. So we need also volunteers who are old enough. So volunteers of 70, 80, even 95 years old for men, even 99 for women, well informed enough, in good health, well, relatively good health for their age, interested for themselves and for the community. What can we test? So we can test metformin, rapamycin, senolytics, caloric restrictions, mimetics, combination pills, blood therapies, and for me, the most promising therapy is gene therapies. Why gene therapies? Because it is lifespan is between brackets decided by our genes, and there is the things that we don't know yet. What we also need is good biomarkers and public results. So we need to have this before the treatment. We need to have this treatment. We need to use capacity markers like you have the list here. We need to use also genetic markers and non-genetic markers. Okay. Now a few words about how African countries could help. Well, first you have the advantage of a rapidly growing health system in Africa with many young scientists with less weight of old systems and bureaucratic systems, more years to win, all things being equal, yeah, and less personal cost. And the most important aspect probably is the fact that you have a larger genetic diversity in Africa than in the rest of the world. More genetic diversity here, well, here for you. And at the moment, most current genomic data is biased towards European ancestry. So if we can start clinical trials in Africa, it will be better. It will be better to understand aging mechanism in African population and in the rest of the world. There are already genomic initiatives existing in South Africa, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Kenya, and probably in other countries. There is, of course, a young, rapidly growing population of 1.4 billion people. So 1 point more, why Africa for trials? Because there are fewer confounding factors from polypharmacy. There is better cost efficiency and less bureaucratic inertia. Well, be careful. The idea is not to have kind of Gaia peaks for the West. So, and it is very important that once that the clinical trials are done, it is to be shared with a system, let's say, like patent left. So to be careful that it's not going to be a benefit for big pharma companies, but benefits for everybody. We could use the example of what is going on at the moment with the European health data space. So it is very important to be able to share all health data. It is very important that the results are published even if they are not positive. because when you are doing experiments, it is important to know if it is when it is working, but it is also very important to know when it is not working. Otherwise, uh, failed trials who were failed will be started again, and this would be uh, time lost for nothing. So it is very important to have, we could say citizen scientists, so participants who provide data, who understand the risk, who insist on the right to try, and who are active partners in research. Here you have an image of relatively young people, but I insist it should be relatively old people like me, 63 years old. There are concerning Africa. There are a few aspects who have to be improved. So the medical infrastructure is less good than in other countries. It's important to develop reliable information about the past to enable pseudonymized and anonymized data reused, and probably the most important aspect, to guarantee that the citizen data will be used for all citizens, to begin with African citizens. I'm already at the conclusion, so we will have more time than I was expecting for questions, discussion, and so on. Maybe I want to say that all this is kind of assessing the importance of the duty to rescue. In some laws, like in Belgium law, when there is a possibility to save lives and you don't do it, you are working against the law. So it should be kind of a global principle that we have to help older people when it is possible, to make it possible to have later more equality and more equity. And what we need for healthy longevity, it is first a system that is trusted by citizens, that is managed by a public institution or maybe by an NGO, where you have anonymized or pseudonymized health data who is put together, who can be used for scientific research and for nothing else, not to be sold, to start clinical tests of old, well-informed volunteers, simultaneously administered to humans and mice, with a firm commitment to transparency and open results. And the goal is, of course, to enable everyone wishing it to live a radically longer and healthier life. So everyone wishing it, not everybody. If you don't want, it's not going to be compulsory. So this is it. You have the website of HEALS, you have the website of the Longevity Alliance, and you can subscribe to the newsletter, the debt of debt, available in English and in 4 other languages. Actually, no. From now, it's in 5 other languages. Thank you for listening, and thank you already for your questions. I'm stopping sharing the screen so I can see you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Didier, for your time. That was very snappy. And because we have other engagements meeting at the International Longevity Alliance. Yeah, clinical trial has been something that bothers me the most. I remember when during my precision medicine and drug development program, I realized that there is a gap, especially in Nigeria, since Dora Konile passed. Um, we have problem with bioequivalence, and then people just especially the Chinese and the Indians, they use Nigeria as experimental ground. They just produce drugs without proper bioequivalence and then dump it to Nigerians because they feel that, oh, Africans, we need help. So Africa is a dumping ground. So with Africa having this vast biodiversity and genetic diversity, what do you think is the best way to have a well-refined and regulated clinical trials? And do you think that NGOs or movement like Afrolongevity can start basic clinical trials on their own?
Yeah, thank you for the question. The sound is not perfect, so I'm not sure I understood everything, but I will try to understand to answer and also to the question that's online. Yeah, maybe first the first thing that I want to say is it is very important that everything is public when you have the trials who are started, and at the moment, for many trials who are started, you don't have all the information necessary, and since the companies are doing that for their own profit, they will not always publish the data. So that's one important aspect. The second important aspect is that if we want, and it's also partly an answer to the question there online, if you want to start something today that would be very interesting as a result for some, I would say, progress, not a big progress, but some progress. It would be to have a test on metformin, because metformin is really a product cheap, without any problem of patent anymore, and that is supposed to have a positive positive effect, but we are not absolutely sure. So a general clinical trial on with old people in Africa for metformin would be, for me, the most interesting thing that we should and could do on the relatively short term. So what is the success rate of drugs that work in mice when tested in humans concerning longevity precisely? Well, there are not so many things who were already tested on mice or rats, and also on humans. So the short answer is we don't know. What I hope that would be tested also in a not so far future is rapamycin, because rapamycin is supposed to be it's certainly working for mice, and it was not tested yet on humans. Yeah. What makes a design clinical trials for different from conventional? What makes a design clinical trials for anti-aging therapies different from conventional drug trials? Well, the biggest difference for me is that for the conventional clinical trials, you are trying on relatively young people, and here it is important to have on relatively old people in good. Is it answering your questions? If it is not, you can maybe speak and or see if I was not answering enough. Please tell me what was not enough.
Okay. I think to offer ask question. Okay, someone asked what makes a design clinical trial. Okay, did you answer the other one?
Yeah,
Please quickly. What is the success rate of drug that works in, okay, you talked about that.
yeah.
You talked about that. that we might have a more robust conversation about that. And you know,
Yeah.
yeah, so there is this guy from Transhumanist that does something like that too in yeah, so that's it. Chisom, do you have
May,
any question?
may, maybe a few words because we have time. A few words about the experiments made by the Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation of Aubrey de Grey. So he was testing 2 or 3 years ago a few products and on 1,000 mice. And now, in a few words from here, he should be testing again other products. And all tests would be uh, with rapamycin and other products. And one of the tests should be on something concerning gene therapies. At the moment, maybe Ozzy, you are muted.
Yes,
I cannot
yeah, I
hear.
said no
Ah,
question for
okay.
now. Um, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. No,
Can you
yes.
hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, so there's no question for now. The thing is that you're going to, please, you can send me the first presentation and the second presentation.
of course. Yeah.
Um, Tomorrow, David Wood will be talking about a lot on longevity escape velocity and the
Mhm.
longevity dividends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to someone asked a question. Okay. In your recruitment for clinical trials, do you make effort to recruit people from different race, color, or continent? Um,
Yeah. So, at I'm
Hello?
not a person. Can you hear me? Ah, maybe you
Yes,
cannot
I
hear
can
me.
hear you.
Ah, you can hear me.
No, I can
Yes.
hear you. Go ahead.
So,
No, go ahead.
yeah. So, thank you for this question. So, we are actually trying to find volunteers, and of course, it is important to have to recruit people from different races, colors, or continent. And I think I would say ideal situation, it would be especially once again from Africa, because the genetic diversity there is higher than in other countries. But to start real clinical trials, it will not be easy. That's one of the big questions, is how to organize in various countries at the same time. And this is not easy at the moment. So it's something that we have to try to organize and how can I say that? At the moment, I don't know enough about the situation for clinical trials in African countries to know how it would be possible, but probably it would be one clinical trials for metformin or from rapamycin could be possible to start if there is money enough. Could be possible to start even almost tomorrow in African countries and in European countries at the same time.
Okay,
If
someone
you are
is
speaking, you are
asking,
muted again.
what's the time?
Sorry.
Yeah, what would be the time length of clinical trials? Like for me, let me if I may say, Jide, can you hear me? If I may say, um, the variables for clinical trial is dependent on, I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So if I may, the variables for clinical trial is dependent on what you want to achieve. All right. I also think that um, during my time of the studies, I record that there's a problem that mistakes that most scientists make. If you come to Nigeria, for example, we have uh, our biological predispositions varies slightly, and it's because of this during the colonial era, the way people, you know, that we were forced together, and it makes um it makes us to even struggle. We are not even sure of our bioequivalent. So that's why when you check products, you find out that the makeups, the 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 chemical makeups and formulations seems to not be the same country by country. However, one of the things that this one of the things that Dora Akunyili fought for. So those fragmentations needs to be put in place. We need to really bring them in during clinical trials. And the most important aspect of clinical trial, which is 100%, or I would say 90% not taken care of, is the pharmacovigilance. If this thing scales or they push it towards a certain level, we don't even care how the drug interaction interplays both at the micro and the macro level. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to do the research and find the funding. Once you even criticize, let's say, for example, paracetamol, and once you criticize it, they will say, you will see people from Nigeria that will fight you. Most Nigerians will say, oh, there is a difference between what this common language they use and critique. And when I say that a product kills, for instance, I'm saying that it slows down aging because you don't just die once when it comes to products. I made a post explaining these things, but most Africans, we place profit making ahead of life, which is the chief value. We care less about people's life. You know, when you say that this product contains this is key, they'll say, show evidence. Thank you. Defamation and criticism. Thank you for that language. You know, it's almost late, and my English is failing me. Thank you. They'll say there's a difference between defamation and criticism. Wrong. Aubrey will tell you wrong. When I started talking about big food and big farmers, people were like, oh no, 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 no. But in South Africa, where I do that comfortably, I have been doing that, and PepsiCo met me. In fact, remember that the former vice president of PepsiCo happens to be the current CEO of Evolution, the highest funder of longevity globally. So what I say it in mid this year, Coca-Cola met me, PepsiCo met me, and then what do we call them again? This Heineken, they met me, and they see me. They see me on Channels Africa. They see me on DSTV talk about all these things. But in Nigeria, they will say it's defamation. Why is it that we don't accept critical review in Nigeria? We don't accept it because we place profit over human life. I remember someone coming to my DM to bully me, saying, "No, oh, you are these ones that don't want Igbos to prosper. Is this against Igbo?" You saw I did an evidence-based post. You know, most people don't appreciate that. That is the problem. That is why they came after Dora Akunyili. That is why when you want to do things about pharmacovigilance, I lost interest. I had wanted to do something about pharmacovigilance so that we can look at the impact of the drugs, you know, the drugs that people are taking in Nigeria, how it reacts in their body. But no ways, you can't, because once you start it, they'll be after you. People will say, oh, you want to bring down people's businesses and all that. That is the problem. Do you know what it means to set up a business when you've never done this? And they always want to write people, or they want to, say a lot about people, the person you don't even know. You don't even know if the person is not asking you for money. Just simple truth. The same thing with one of the problems. One of the problems we have in Africa is this. Someone mentioned greediness and ignorance. There are a lot of products in Nigeria
Yeah.
that has never passed through clinical trials. There are a lot of products in Nigeria that didn't pass even bioequivalent conversion. There are a lot of products, and because of poverty, because of what do we call it again, lack of unemployment, they turn it into pyramid scheme, or what they call networking or network marketing. And that's why we have high rate of liver and kidney problem. You see somebody is not taking alcohol and all that, but the person is suffering from non-alcoholic fatty liver. These are the problems. These are the basic problems. We need to really start finding solutions through orientation. Maybe when we start our community outreach program, we start creating awareness about this. But you see, when you want to, that's why most people, when people reach out to me, say, do I post? I say, please don't post. You don't have that energy. You don't have that capacity to do some of all these things. They might pick you, and don't do because another person is doing. Just take your time, understand the basic, understand the rudiments, because Nigeria, justice, you can only find justice in Nigeria in the dictionary and books. There is nothing like that here. So you just have to guide yourself jealously and know how to do whatever you want to do the basic way you can do it. I would say the right way, because what is right in other part of the world is wrong in Nigeria. So thank you so much, Didier, for
Yeah.
giving us this overview. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
May I say, first, the connection broke on my side during 2 minutes, so I could not hear you during 2 minutes, but I, I had you back the last 2 or 3 minutes. That's technical. Then first, I want to answer also to one comment, one question about specifically metformin that was on the chat to ask are there secondary effects concerning metformin? So the answer is yes, but not very bad in most cases, less than concerning rapamycin. One comment about what you said, Ozzy, and also somebody in the chat about greedy aspects. Yes, of course, there are those aspects in Nigeria, in Belgium, and everywhere in the world. But concerning potential test on metformin, so metformin there is no patent anymore. So there normally, if there are good measures concerning the fact that concerning financing and concerning the measure of health data, let's say, it should be interesting. And about the question, how long would it take? So in an ideal situation, people would take metformin for, I would say, for the rest of their life. And you could compare the result without metformin and with metformin during a long time. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And something else that I want to say is, sadly, at the moment, in African countries, but also in European countries, there is no long-term clinical trials concerning longevity, concerning healthy longevity, and this is the biggest problem. And we need more volunteers, and we need more clinical trials where with real measuring of metabolic data concerning aging. That's it for me at the moment.
Okay. Thank you so much. If there are questions, then we'll be able to talk about it. If not, we can go and prepare for the ELA meeting.
Yeah.
I'll be to give the report on this training that have been going on, and I'll be coming with some selected members here for them to give reports on their experience with regards to the training. Our focus is to bring Africa into the global longevity table for us to grow collectively. Thank you so much, Didier. Take good care of yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ozzy, I will send you the links to the slides, and for all of you here, you can send me emails, of course, if you want to continue the conversation online. Okay, I thank you for everything, and goodbye now.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I'm trying to capture people here for the attendance. I'm trying to capture people for the attendance. And people are leaving already. My God. The attendance list is there. Please register for attendance before leaving. It came late. No. Trying to capture people. Okay. We had 50 persons, only 2 persons left. Only the persons, so the attendance list is there. Please register before leaving. Thank you so much. Yeah. Unless we want to have other conversations. This issue of clinical trials, during my studies, it was very, very important to me. I read a whole lot about what Dara Kunyili did with clinical trials in Nigeria, and pharmacovigilance. Since she passed, there is no pharmacovigilance going on in Nigeria. And there is a trend that is going on in Nigeria that most people seem not to be paying attention to. You see this issue of people trying to bring in defamation when you do critical review. It will nail Nigeria. I called out Nestle. And South Africa, when India sued Nestle, South Africa government worked with it. But you see Nestle in Nigeria, nobody cares. Nobody cares. This company that have been putting in sugar, baby formulas, and nobody is saying anything about it, because it's either their uncle is a distributor or their relative is a manager, general manager. It's a problem. Aside that, there are a lot of products from South Africa that most of these networking products causing problem from South Africa. No SAPRA approval. Once they come to what's going on? Hello, can you hear me? Once they come to Nigeria, NAFDAC is approving them immediately. NAFDAC is approving them, and nobody regulates them. Nobody checkmates them. We keep complaining. In as much as there is unemployment, people want to make money. People want to get what they call it again. This card that people want to go international trip. People want to go to Europe. People want to go to Dubai, and as such, no issues. Once somebody came to my DM to tell me that what if I'm sued? The people just look at you, they think that you are just one anyhow person that they just threaten. The problem in Nigeria is that we place money, profit over human life. We value money over life. You guys always have this English to speak. We value money over life, and it's problematic, you know. So there is no justice. The problem there is that there is no justice in Nigeria, and these business people behave like courts. When LinkedIn was fighting to bring down my account, if not that I had Paul Spiegel to file a suit against them, and then Aubrey de Grey writing petitions and everything, it could have been a problem. If not that I belong to, you know, a professional body and well known, they followed it up. It became it turned out that pharmaceutical companies reported my accounts. You know, they reported my account to be permanently deleted from LinkedIn. So I would suggest that we just do what we can. The only thing we can do as a movement is when we do our community outreach, we can just sensitize people and make them learn the right thing. You see, because when these forces fight you, you might have issues. So Sun is as good as good as NAFDAC. Forget about that. We are talking about Nigeria. The other country, worst countries. So as long as we continue having open drug markets in Nigeria, Nigeria is not going to get better. Nigeria is not going to get better. It's not getting better anytime soon. We already have 60% of fake drugs in Nigeria. It's a problem. We have over 2,000 factories producing fake drugs in Nigeria. It's a problem. Nobody is talking about it. I remembered when Channels Television posted about one factory in Egbeda that have been producing antibiotics for over 15 years. Over 15 years. Fake. And after the interview, I took the snippet, I posted it on Facebook. Do you know that even Facebook flagged it? These guys have the resources, they have the mechanism. The big farmers are stronger, big pharmaceutical companies and big food are stronger than many countries. So you just have to know your level, your energy frequency, and what you are capable of defending and what you are capable of fighting. Thank you so much. Please watch over yourself, take good care of yourself, guide yourself jealously. Those who will be joining me, DM me on WhatsApp so that we'll be there in time, 8 p.m. Just 1 hour. Prepare your report. You want to give report there, because I'll give a report, a general report about this. I would want few to say a few things there. Thank you. Take care. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us.